Group Show. I am your host, LJ Walker, a real estate investor helping home buyers, homeowners, and note investors realize and hold on to their dreams. Today, I want to speak to you guys about how knowing your history and your rights can save you. Many neighborhoods today, buildings and churches, are being destroyed by developers who use eminent domain. Eminent domain is when the government takes over property, even if it's owned outright by someone. The property is then used for public use and sometimes for economic development. It's happening all over the country. You never know. One day it may even happen to you. So hopefully the tips that I share will prepare you in case it does. And for those of you who are already going through it, hopefully the information will assist you as you are in the process or in the middle of an eminent domain fight. Now, some people, what they do to try and keep their property is they figured they'll destroy the property and they'll destroy the neighborhood. That is a myth. As a matter of fact, to get around this, what many developers have done is they've used that to speed up the process of obtaining eminent domain to take over the properties. And when they take over the properties, instead of paying the people the current value for the property, they get to pay the people less than what the property is worth. There's one developer who actually sits on the Federal Reserve Board in New York who was interested in just pretty much 3 buildings that were dilapidated in a neighborhood. Well, he ended up getting the whole entire area and not just those 3 buildings. So let's look at one of the ways in which you can fight it. Well, several of the ways, in which you can fight it. One way is if you know the history of your property, you can have it registered as a landmark. There are different places in which you can get this information, and then you would register it with the Landmark Preservation Committee. Number 1, you would go to the Records Department. Number 2, the second place, is the National Registry of Historic Places. Go to http://www.nps.gov/NR. Number 3, you can go to the State Historic Preservation. Number 4, you can go to your local historic society or local historic library. Number 5, some people have actually looked in their attics and basements and were able to find letters, artwork, and other artifacts of historical figures that either visited the home or used to live in that home. Number 6, lastly, some people have dug up in their backyards and also found various artifacts to keep their homes or to at least have it registered as a historical landmark. I have a slight issue with this last one personally because I find that you may dig and find something that you did not want to find, or it may be unsafe. And let me give you an example. You see, I went on the Philadelphia property bus tour. We ran across a neighborhood where all of the homes were built on top of a graveyard. As a matter of fact, in the roads of this area, you can see the imprints of coffins, which means it needed to get repaved, and it hadn't gotten repaved as of yet. Heaven forbid you may dig up a bone coffin, or yes, even a ghost. I know that sounds crazy, but I just have an issue with that. And then my other example is one that I learned when I was taking real estate appraisal courses. There was an area in upstate New York. It's near Niagara Falls and Buffalo. The military used to test bombs and nuclear weapons up there. We're not sure if the land was cleared properly because, inspectors, even though they are in charge of going over any construction sites, they're really not there to look 24/7 to see what's going on. They'll come for maybe 15 minutes and then they leave, so you never know what happened in between that time. What is of certain, though, and this might be related, there has been reported a number of people who live there have come down with cancer. So this is why digging up in the backyard may not necessarily be the best thing, because you don't know what kind of chemicals are there. And let's be honest, in the past, some inspectors have been arrested because they were paid off. And also, the government, even though they have environmental boards, I personally don't feel as though those boards are supported enough. Let's look at our president that we have today, Donald Trump. He doesn't believe that there's a climate change problem at all. Yet I have lived here in New York for 47 years, and I definitely notice that there is a change just day to day. Like one day